Hello everyone. Let's look at the top 10 questions on escrow code agreement. So before looking at these questions, we will discuss about this topic in a very interesting and a summarized way. Escrow code agreement, right? Uh, when we say the code here means the source code of the software. Okay, so we will start from the scratch, from the initial phase, like why do we need this agreement, and who are the parties involved, and like, is it really compulsory to have escrow code agreement, or we can do business without this agreement, right? So all these questions and everything we will discuss, and we will discuss the entire term, entire concept in a much interesting way, along with the top 10 questions on this topic, right? So before getting into the main topic, so we will understand the background of the need of this agreement and who are the parties involved over here. So there are three parties involved, when we study this term escrow code agreement. So the first party is the organization, the company. So we would call this as licensee. Licensee. Okay. This is the first party. Okay. Then we have something known as licensor. Licensee, licensor. And why do we call this licensee or licensor? Again, we will discuss that also. Okay, so licensor, you can say basically it's a company who is developing software developer, or you can say the manufacturer of that particular product for that particular software, right? So the software developer or the manufacturer is called as licensor, and the organization is called as licensee. And then we have the third party. This is the first, this is the second. Okay, we have the third party. Why do we need third party? Okay, we will discuss that also, but there is a third party involved over here, which is known as escrow agent. The third party is escrow agent, right? So developer and the person for the company for whom the software is being developed, right? And then there is a escrow agent, right? So how does the story start? Okay, licensee, that organization, the first party which we discussed, okay, identifies the first party identifies a specific need, a specific software need. Okay, in fact, you know what, this is the beginning of the software development life cycle. Like, if you remember domain 3, the origination of domain 3, this originated because of the requirement for having a software which can tackle the business requirement, which can tackle the business problem, which can solve our needs, right? The business needs, in fact. Okay, so if you remember domain 3, we started the entire discussion of domain 3 because that there was some need of automation. There was some need for having a software solution which can tackle our business problem, which can solve our business requirements, right? So the licensee identifies a specific software need. Okay, now the licensee, if you remember in domain 3 we discussed, right? So licensee has two options. They can do what? They can develop the software in-house, or they can outsource this software development to third party software developer or manufacturer, right? So there are two ways, right? You can either develop in-house or you can outsource it, right? So here we are talking about the outsource. So this particular process is being outsourced, right? And that's why there is something known as licensor, right? It's not in-house. If it's in-house, there's no question about escrow code agreement. Come on, right? Because if it's in-house, we don't have to worry about the ownership and all those things. So we'll discuss when I'm using the word ownership, what do exactly I mean. Okay, but understand that when I am developing something in-house, I am the owner of it. I need not worry about any escrow agent, right? But here we are not developing in-house. Here we are doing what? Here we are outsourcing to the third party software developer. Okay, now understand one thing. Okay, so basically we wanted a software solution, right? So the software was developed by licensor. Why do we call this licensor? Because the ownership here lies with the licensor company, the manufacturer company. Okay, so here when I am outsourcing to the third party software developer, okay, the third party software developer is the owner of that particular source code. I am not the owner. The organization is not owning that particular source code. Okay, so basically you just have right to use. We will also look at the what to say a sample agreement. I'll show you the agreement, how does it look, and what kind of terms we use over there. But then I'm just trying to give you the overview, and it's very important to understand these things. So here basically the owner is not the company. Okay, the owner is the software developer or the manufacturer or the licensor, right? And that's why we are using the term licensor and licensee, right? All right, so here we are not the owner. Okay, so it is developed by the licensor or the okay, just a second. Yeah, so it's being developed by the licensor, so the ownership lies with them. All right, so what exactly thing has happened is, okay, so when the software was developed, okay, so the source code of the software is with whom? Is with the licensor. Okay, now the licensee is tensed, is worried that what if tomorrow the licensor goes bankrupt, the licensor doesn't fulfill his obligations. Because understand that when you're providing the source code, the story doesn't end over there. The licensor should also supposed to give maintenance services. The licensor should also supposed to fix the bugs. The licensor should also supposed to, let's say if there is a need for enhancing the feature of that software, for bringing the new features, right? In that case, for the development, we need what we the licensor should participate. Not only that, very important, patching vulnerabilities. Okay, in the software might have security vulnerabilities. Okay, so the licensor should regularly apply the patches, should regularly release the patches, right? So all this duty belongs to whom? Belongs to the licensor. But we are tensed, the licensee, the company is tensed that what if tomorrow the licensor doesn't do his duties, doesn't fulfill their responsibilities? What if they go bankrupt? Okay, we do not trust. Okay, so basically it's a matter of risk management decision by the what? By the licensee company. Okay, understand that if I have the full trust, okay, let's say if the software developer, the licensor, is a very established company, is a very reputed company in this particular software industry, okay, and I have full trust over that company, I may need not have what? Escrow code agreement. I may need not have that. What is escrow code agreement? Escrow code agreement, what exactly is happening is that I am asking the licensor that, okay, you also keep the copy of the source code to the where at the escrow agent. Okay, and if tomorrow you do not fulfill your duties, if tomorrow you do not fulfill your obligations, I can directly go to the escrow agent and I can ask for the source code. Okay, so escrow agent is like a third party, okay, which is creating the trust, which is which is impartial in in the entire agreement. Okay, so which is kind of giving the guarantee. So escrow agent over here yeah, so escrow agent over here is kind of giving a guarantee, is building a trust, is giving a guarantee to the licensee that, hey, licensee, do not worry. If you do not trust licensor, it's completely fine. Because understand that, the licensee could be, the licensee could be using this particular software for having some mission critical business requirements. Okay, that software which is being developed or which is being used by the licensee, is so important that, if something goes wrong, the entire business of the licensee can go down, right? So understand that, licensee is actually what, it's worried, it's tense that, something bad can happen in the future, unforeseeable future, right? So we don't know what's going to happen in the future, right? So the escrow agent is saying, hey, licensee, do not worry, I'm there for you. I'm there for you. Okay, so if tomorrow something happens, if the licensor doesn't fulfill his duties, if the licensor goes bankrupt, I'm there to help you. I'm there to help you. I will give you the source code to use it. Okay, I'll give you that. So do not worry. So escrow agent, what exactly is being done? It's a choice of what? It's basically helping for the risk management decision. So basically, escrow agent, is it mandatory? No, it is not compulsory, it is not mandatory, right? But why do we need it? Because to have because to mitigate the risk. Okay, so basically it's a risk management decision. Understand this thing. Okay, if the licensor is very well established brand, or a very big company, still we may go for escrow code agreement, right? To have to mitigate our risk, to have a good risk management, right? So basically it's there to create a trust, right? So this is the main logic you need to understand, right? All right. Okay, what else? Just a second. Yeah. So, the need of, okay, so we were also discussing about the need of uh, having what? Having access to the source code, because in the end, what licensee wants access to source code when something goes wrong. Okay, access to source code, maybe for bug fixing, for adding new features, maybe for integrating that particular software with some other system, like whatever the need comes, right? For patching vulnerabilities, right? Now some people might have a question. Okay, I understand. Okay, you do not trust the licensor. Oh, I really understand your point, but why can't we have a direct agreement? Why can't we have a direct agreement? Why do you need to involve a third party? Why do we need an agent? Okay, if I'm the husband, okay, and if something goes wrong between me and my spouse, okay, why do we need to involve the third party, right? Okay, that's the question. Okay, why can't we have a direct agreement? Why can't we have a direct contract? Why do we need third party, third person? Okay, understand one thing. Okay, direct agreement, uh can it be possible? Okay, again, it's something uh kind of, you can say, I mean, it's kind of debatable. Okay, we can have an agreement. Okay, so if something goes wrong, please do the agreement that you will provide me the access to the source code. We can have that also. But again, if there is an agent, that it is more trustworthy. Okay, the trust increases. As I've told you in the start, that you need to understand that do we really need, or do we need all the time? No, basically it's there for risk management purpose, right? So to build more trust, impartiality, we are having that. And again, nature of your software, the nature of the software, it's kind of, maybe you are using that software for maybe it's mission critical. When I say mission critical, it means that it's so important that if tomorrow, if tomorrow something goes wrong with that vendor, something goes wrong with the licensor, and if he's not able to fulfill his duties, it can have an impact on my business. Understand one thing, if I'm teaching you, we have our own software, we have our own mobile application, we have our laptop software, okay, and we have our vendor. Okay, if tomorrow something goes wrong, and if the vendor stops giving us the required service, it will definitely have a very strong impact on my business. It will definitely have a strong impact on my education, on my teaching profession, because I won't be able to give that service, and it's gonna have an impact on the students, right? So understand, if something goes wrong over there, my business will be impacted, right? So that's why it's always good to have an agent involved. Okay. uh all right, so just a second. All right then. We will also, okay, just one second. I think, yeah. So we will discuss now, and then we will look at the real agreement. So we will just discuss some theory part. It's not that important, because now you will understand what exactly source escrow code agreement. The source code of a software product is its lifeblood. The of a software source code of a software is its lifeblood. If anything happens to the software provider, example bankruptcy, failure to support the product, and the end user or the licensee doesn't have access to source code, they might find themselves with an unusable or unsupported product. To address this risk, an arrangement is made where the software source code is deposited. The software, so important word, deposited. We are depositing to the agent. The software source code is deposited with a neutral, very important, neutral third party agent, and escrow. Why do we need audit? Because auditor acts neutral, right? Auditor, that's why we say auditor's independence, right? We are, auditor is not dependent on the client, right? So whenever they will give their opinions, they will give their reports, it would be impartial. So this is something which we have already discussed in domain 1, right? So auditor's independence. Okay, and that's similar over here also. Neutral third party agent and escrow. The code is released. The code is released. The code is released to the licensee only if specific predefined conditions are met. Okay. Steps involved: agreement creation. Both the licensor, the software provider, and the licensee, the user or the client, agree on the terms and conditions under which the source code will be released. Deposit of the source code: the licensor deposits the source code and possibly other materials like documentation or data with the escrow agent. Verification: some escrow arrangements also include a verification step to ensure the deposited source code is complete. Understand that. Understand one thing. Okay, yeah, I think this is something which we haven't discussed, right? Okay, there would be what? Regular updates to escrow. Okay, let's say tomorrow, let me come to that diagram. Yeah, so this was a diagram. Let's say tomorrow, okay, licensor, let me change the color of this. Yeah, blue. Let's say tomorrow licensor has released some security patches. Okay, uh, uh, fixed some bugs, added features, added new features. Okay, so all these updates, whatever is happening on the source code, okay, should what? Should also be updated to the escrow agent. The escrow agent must have the updated version, because the escrow agent will only release when something bad happens, right? When something which is mentioned in the agreement, if something that happens, then only the escrow agent will release the license. Otherwise, escrow agent will not release and may not release over the life. Okay, only in some situation, that would come, like, then only escrow agent is supposed to release it, right? So whenever, during the, entire cycle, whenever new updates happens, the same updated version should also be given to whom? To the escrow agent, right? Some escrow agreements also include a verification step to ensure that the depositor source code is complete, functional, and can be built in a working application. Release conditions. The escrow agreement specifies trigger events, or conditions under which the source code can be released to the licensee. Common triggers. There could be lot of factors, but the common triggers include bankruptcy of the software provider, failure of the software provider to maintain or support the software provider going out of business, code release. If a trigger event occurs, the escrow agent releases the source code to the licensee, allowing them to maintain and update the software independently. Understand that, okay? When I am releasing the source code, you do not become the owner of that particular source code. We will discuss that in the agreement also. I'll show you the agreement, the real agreement. There also we will discuss is what do I'm trying to say over here is that tomorrow the licensee cannot resell, the licensee cannot redistribute or resell that particular source code. Okay, understand one thing, I am giving you the access to the source code so that your business doesn't hamper. Hey licensee, I'm just, okay, I'm the agent, right? Okay, the time has come that I need to release this source code because some trigger, some condition got triggered, right? The licensor may not be able to fulfill his responsibility. Some condition has triggered and I'm giving you the source code, but mind you, you cannot resell, you cannot redistribute. I am giving you so that your business doesn't hamper, for the business continuity, okay, so that you can maintain and you can update the software independently, but you cannot resell. It's not, you haven't become the owner of it, correct? Yeah, so this is what I'm trying to say over here. Okay, periodic updates. As the software evolves, newer version of the source code should also be deposited in escrow, ensuring the licensee has access to the most up-to-date version. Yeah, this is something which we have discussed, right? So whatever update happens, you need to deposit it to the escrow agent, right? And understand that, when I'm saying you're not the owner, okay, I hope that, I have already spoken about it, that here we are using the term licensee and licensor is because we are not the owners, right? I think this is something which we have discussed in the start, right? We are not the company is not the owner. Okay, I am developing the software for you, but I am the owner, right? I am not giving the ownership to you. If I am giving the ownership to you, okay, then also there may be a requirement of escrow code. Okay, that is something which you need not worry about it. Okay, but the thing is that then in that case it would be optional, right? But for understanding this term, the scenario will be that we are not owning the software, the licensee is not owning it, right? And that's why we are using the term licensor and licensee. All right, okay, yeah, so I think let me show you the real agreement. All right then, you can see at the screen the real agreement. Okay, just a second. Yeah, so the term manufacturer, escrow agreement software, I'm sorry, the escrow agreement software, okay, represented by manufacturer, licensor, the developer, licensee, okay, and the third party is what here is, the name is Hans Escrow Management. Okay, this is the name of the company. So the escrow agent, right? So manufacturer licensee and the escrow agent, three parties involved. Okay, then we have this definition, prerequisites, conditions, manufacturer's duties, licensee's duties, confidentiality of the source code. If I am depositing the source code to the escrow agent, they must also maintain what confidentiality. They cannot share that source code with anyone. Okay, it's an asset, it's a confidential asset. Okay, we will discuss here. Okay, yeah, so first thing, yeah, so definition, agreement. Okay, so agreement has agreement on what? Agreement on the source code. Just a second. Yeah, yeah, agreement shall mean this agreement on the source code escrow services. License agreement shall mean the agreement between the what manufacturer and the licensee regarding what use of the software. Use, we are not giving you the right to sell, right to redistribute. Use of the software. Okay, software shall, just a second. Yeah, 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 so here, we have the materials. Okay, so materials shall include what? A copy of the software, then what? A copy of the source code of the software in the version that manufacturer has provided to the licensee. Okay, then we have what? We have all amendments, updates, new version. I told you, okay, whenever updates happen, new version amendment happens, which affect the software components that manufacturer has provided or caused to be provided to the licensee under. So they have used the legal terms. Okay, so some people might not be able to understand the legal terms. It's fine. What here they are trying to mention over here is that whenever updates or new versions or fixing of the bugs, whatever thing happens, the updated version, they are referring to the current version. Okay, then what else? So if you look over here, they have used the word purpose of continuity. Purpose of continuity is the use of the materials only for the purpose of understanding, maintenance, updating, modification of the software. Okay, only for the purpose of continuity. You cannot reuse for or resell. You cannot resell or redistribute. Only for the business continuity I am giving you that. Okay, what else? Yeah, so here prerequisites, manufacturer will have the agreement. This is all common. Something new, we are looking for something new thing. What else? Yeah, point number C, the use and knowledge of the source code and the development documentation. The documentation is not necessary for the use of the software as stipulated in the license agreement. However, under the conditions named in section 8, it is necessary for the licensee to be able to examine the source code and development and use it for the purpose of continuity. Yeah, for the purpose of continuity, that is something which we have discussed already. What else? Yeah, escrow agent, Hans Escrow, shall keep all the materials in trust for the parties and shall exercise due care to ensure that no unauthorized party can obtain access to the materials. Confidentiality, which we have discussed. Okay. If the licensor fails, do not worry, licensee, I am there to help you, man. In his obligation to deliver the materials, the Escrow within the period specified in the, okay, even the period is specified, right? Escrow shall be under no obligation to obtain such delivery. In such case, Escrow shall notify the licensee in writing of, okay, yeah. So what here they're trying to say is that if manufacturer fails to deposit, okay, so licensor, obviously licensor will have to deposit, right? The source code, the owner of the code is licensor, they have the source code, right? So they are supposed to deposit to the agent, right? But if the manufacturer fails in his obligation to deliver materials, materials we have discussed over there, to the agent, okay, the agent shall be under no obligation to obtain such delivery, okay. Okay, in such case, the agent shall notify the licensee in writing of the non-delivery. I have not received the source code, right? All right, what else? Yeah, manufacturer's duties. Manufacturer, the licensor shall irrevocably deliver the materials to the agent within 21 days of this agreement. So when the agreement was done, okay, these days is not fixed, okay. Okay, it all depends upon the agreement. I am just showing you a sample agreement over here. So here they have mentioned 21 days. Within 21 days, you need to deposit the source code. Manufacturers guarantee that he is the copyright owner of the software and that there's no rights held by third parties, okay. So the licensor should actually be the owner, right? Which could conflict the agreement. All right, if the parties have concluded a standard escrow, secure escrow, or special agreement, the manufacturer shall, if required, grant all right, so these are all not important. Point number C, manufacturer shall grant licensee access to and use of materials for the purpose of again. So how many times they are using this term, purpose of continuity, okay, only for your business continuity. Said access being conditional upon the prior occurrence of one of the conditions. I am giving you the access, but some trigger should happen, right? Some condition should get triggered, then only I will give it to you. Otherwise you do not have any right to ask me for the source code, okay. I am there to support you, but that doesn't mean that you will misuse me, okay. Yeah, so this is what is they are trying to mention over here. Licensee is entitled to use it material for the purpose of continuity, right? What else? Yeah, after receiving the materials, because of the occurrence of a condition specified in section 8, okay, whatever things are mentioned, licensee shall use the materials only for the purpose of, so yeah, they have mentioned this thing again and again, right? So anyways, then we have what, I mean, these were the important things, right? They can have lots and lots of conditions, right? But then we don't need to learn all those things, okay. So whatever important in the end, there will be a signature of the manufacturer, signature of the licensee, and the signature of the hands escrow, right, and the date, right? So this is a kind of a escrow agreement, okay. So I just wanted to show you the real picture of this agreement before discussing those top 10 questions. Anyways, now without wasting more time, we will directly start looking at those top 10 questions on this topic.